All right, guys, what's up? We're back. We're here with Krauhs today, and we're gonna mock draft. We got the draft tonight, so we're just gonna kind of do a mock draft here and see what we think. So, I think number one overall, it's kind of obvious, right? Bedard.
Yeah, Bedard. Fantilli. I think in any other draft, Fantilli goes number one. He's
He's number
good.
two.
He has height, but it just in this draft he can't go. He has everything, just can't go in this draft.
Man, but Bedard, he is so good, and Fantilli he's really good too. I think the Ducks didn't get screwed that hard. I mean, obviously Bedard's good and better, but Fantilli's a very good number two.
Yeah,
All right, number three. This is kind of where it starts. So, what are we thinking? Leo Carlson, Benson, Will Smith.
I think Carlson just because of his size.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I agree with
him and Will Smith have about the same skill wise. Will Smith might be a little bit better, but just size wise, Leo Carlson and Columbus really needs some size guys over some skill right now. I mean, you have Goudreau, Kent Johnson there, and then maybe see like a couple other people like free agency, whatever happens. I think you want a little bit more of like a bigger person to play with those guys.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think that Carlson's a pretty good number three. I think Smith could go four because I don't know if you saw, but the Russian guy, Michkov, he's had a lot of question marks around him, especially today. A lot of teams said he's got character issues, kind of like Shane Wright last year, and so I think he'll slip a little bit.
Yeah, I would put Mitchkov maybe even eventually could maybe drop below 10.
Yeah, he very easily could, and he could very easily go in the top three. I mean, because he was projected to go, I think, third, kind of a couple months ago, and now he's
Yeah.
all of a sudden out of the top five in a lot of
Just
mock drafts.
out.
So
I think Smith goes fourth overall.
I agree with that. Yeah, I think the top four it's interchangeable a little bit, but I think this is kind of what it should be. Bedard at one and Fantilli at two. Those are locks, and then Smith and Carlson they could flop, but I think Carlson's just got the edge on Smith due to the size.
I know. I just think Smith is just skill wise. Smith is one of the best skilled players in the whole draft. He's so good. Watching videos of him on the national development team, he's just outstandingly better than everyone.
Yeah. All right. So now at five, what do we? There's a lot of players here. I've heard a lot of good things about so many of these guys, and it's making it tough. Dvorsky, I've heard a lot. Benson has been really hyped up. Mitchkov's obviously a good player. What are you thinking for five?
I don't know. I don't know.
I would say Dvorsky. Montreal kind of their centers are very talented, and I think just adding another one would help them. What are your thoughts?
I would agree with that. They don't really. I don't know. I would.
It's hard because they're trying to build around Suzuki and Caulfield, so it's just
Yeah.
kind of what guy fits the best.
I I think Dvorsky would be a good pick. I think he would fit Canadians really well.
Yeah. Do you think Montreal's gonna maybe trade that pick? Because I've heard a couple of rumors that they could maybe trade that and go down a little bit, just kind of get a little bit better draft stock out of it.
Yeah, depending on what they get offered, because I feel like the only way they trade that away, because they can still get a really good player, but I feel like the only way they trade that away is if they get like 2 picks in first round, maybe, or just like trade it for eventually like a better player.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. And I think that there's like so many players that are good, but Montreal's not a team that I feel like is ready for a good player. Like I think DeBrincat would be a good fit for him, but like where Montreal's at in their rebuild process, I just don't think DeBrincat's the right player at the right time right now.
I personally think the way that DeBrincat's been like moving through teams, I personally like. Not trying to be biased, but I personally think I see him moving to the Red Wings. Just his play style and the way he likes to play, I feel like he would fit the way the Red Wings play really well.
I do too. I think he would complement Larkin a lot, and that power play would be very good because you got Sider, Raymond. The Red Wings, I don't really know a lot. Do they have cap space for him? I think they do, right?
I think we do have cap space. I think they have a lot of cap space right now, actually. We don't have too many big contracts. The only big contract we really have was Larkin's 8-year deal.
Yeah. And that's Larkin is a good player, man. You got him at a good contract, and that's critical. The Red Wings, I think, could be a playoff team this year.
Hopefully, want them to.
All right, number 6, Arizona. I think personally it's going to be Zach Benson here, and then I think Mitchkov goes 7th. What do you What are you thinking?
Mm, I really want Benson to fold in ninth, but
That's the thing.
he
He could fall ninth.
Benson's. I know, but Benson's so good. The way he, I don't know if you watch video of him,
Oh,
but the
I've
way
seen him.
he plays and his play style is just so good.
Yeah.
I don't know why he couldn't get picked sixth, but I want him to fall. But I think six would be a good spot for him.
Yep. Six. And then, are we in agreement on Mitchkoff seventh?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty well area for him
And
to go.
man, for the Flyers, man, you have to love that pick because he's a good enough player to be in the top five, but he's just not
Yeah.
character issues and obviously everything
hmm
else going on. All right, number 8. What are we thinking?
Um, I don't know who.
I'm looking at Sandine. I don't know how to say this guy's name, man. It's the 11th, Sandine Pelika. I've heard a lot of good things. I seen him pretty high in the mock drafts. Good defenseman.
Um, I know too an underrated pick. Oh, what's his name? Scroll down a little bit. He might be on it. Played for National Development.
Oliver Moore.
No, it's
Oh, Ryan Leonard.
Ryan
I've
Leonard.
heard a lot of things about him too. He could be there.
I think he could be a top 10 pick easily. I think
I
he's like a really underrated, like kind of like he could go low in the draft and be a steal for some
Yeah,
teams.
I could see him going to Detroit at 9. I
Or
think
17th.
yeah, no, but oh man, that's tough because I kind of
Braden
forgot.
Yeager's good too. Oliver Moore's really good.
Reinbacher's good.
Mm.
He could maybe go too.
Colby Barlow's really good too.
I think Washington goes defense here. Do you think they go D2?
Oh, Capitals.
Yeah,
I think they do. I think they do need D, and the best D would be Sandin.
you
Sandin.
think it's him?
I think that would be the best defensive player to get if they are going to go the defensive way, which they kind of need that.
Right, to fit with Carlson because they're such a weird team. They are like mediocre and they're not bad enough to be bad yet, but they're also not good enough to be a cup contender. So they're just kind of
Yeah, they're not there anymore. They're kind of like a bubble team at
right.
this point.
Yeah, they gotta either go for it for Ovi or just sell everything,
Yeah,
which I just don't see them doing. All right, number 9. This is your team here, Detroit.
I know.
What do you? I'll let you pick.
I could see Colby Barlow. He's really underrated, and I don't know the way Eiserman thinks. I feel like because Colby Barlow is a really good player, he's super underrated. I could see Ryan Leonard falling too, or like Oliver Moore.
Yeah, Ryan Bucker.
I don't know. It's hard to say at this point, but because at this area you kind of want a little bit more forward depth.
Right.
Because I mean, or you could go defensive here as well, because you have 2 picks, so it's either you go forward early or D early.
Yeah, it's kind of. I think this draft is so stocked with forwards that I think you maybe go forward at 17 and then 9 take the D. Because I'm not saying the defense is bad in this draft. It's just heavily forwards. So I think you go D here.
Yeah, which, yeah, I think.
Do you?
I don't know. It's hard. It's hard. There's a lot of
Yeah.
for D. I have no clue. Mm.
I would say Reinbacher because I've seen a lot of picks have him pretty
Reinbacher
high.
is really good. Yeah, I could see Reinbacher going there.
Yeah, we'll pick that. And then St. Louis at 10. I think it's gonna be Matthew Wood personally, but I mean they're just such a wild card team. I could see anybody going to them.
Yeah, St. Louis is just. I don't know. St. Louis is St. Louis. It's just. I feel like at this
They're
point,
like Washington.
yeah, it's just kind of. I don't know.
We'll
I could see any of those like top guys going still, like 7, 9, or 10. Any of them.
Yeah. What do you think? I think Wood.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
All right, that top 10 that's a good top 10 for a draft. And
Really good.
I think that any team here is going to be happy with anybody from the top 10. If they got any of these guys, I think they'd be fine with it.
Oh yeah.
All right, Vancouver at 11. Where do we think they go?
Depending on contracts and what's going to happen to their team,
Yep.
I'm thinking they need I'm thinking they need forwards.
Yeah. Is it Sale?
Yeah,
So.
yeah, that seems right.
And then Ottawa. Oof. They're another team. They need a little bit of everything.
Hmm.
I would say forward because of DeBrincat leaving, if he
Yeah.
leaves. So that's where I would say Ryan Leonard.
Hmm.
You in agreement with that?
Yeah, I would see that.
All right.
Ryan Leonard's so good too.
And then we go to Buffalo. This is tough.
I see Buffalo. I mean, the defense wise, they have a really good signing with Power. Finally, now kind of like getting into NHL, and Dahlin's really good all-star defenseman. I could see gaining maybe another D to develop and get to like Power,
Mm-hmm.
because I mean their forward is pretty good. Their
I
forwards
know. They
are
have a very
they have a lot of
talented group.
young, talented, yeah. With like Tuck and
Thompson.
Pozo to lead them and
Yeah.
be the veterans. I think they go D.
I agree with that. I think that they have a very young D core, but they have 2 first overall defensemen. So I think their
Yeah.
D is talented. Which D do you go here? Do you go for 13 or 15?
I would go Lucas 15.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. And I think the other thing too, and it really doesn't matter, but I think it's slowly getting into it, is just like having a Canadian on your team versus a Russian. Because right now the Russians, just the controversy. I think it's safer to pick a Canadian.
Way safer.
Yeah. All right. 14 Pittsburgh. I think Kristall's a perfect fit for their team. A winger. He can kind of go between Crosby. I don't think he'll play on his line, but he could if he needed to. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with that.
He's undersized. I think that's why he falls a little bit. Because I mean, he's
Mhm.
projected 9th right now according to this cap friendly draft rankings.
Yeah.
But I can't see him going above 10.
I don't either.
All right, going to 15th Nashville.
Mm. This is a weird pick because Nashville just. I mean, Johansson's gone, right?
Yeah, I believe they traded him.
Yeah, they did trade Johansson. I mean, defense still looking at like who they need. They don't have like a really good forward core or a really good D core. It's just kind of like mid for both of them.
Yeah.
They're just kind of. It doesn't really matter who they pick here. They just need someone good.
Do you think they go best player available?
Mm, I mean, I could see it 100%, but
I don't know. They have had such a good offseason too. They have so many picks and they made a lot of good trades. Like they're going in the right direction.
they're going in the way right direction.
Yeah. Well, so who do you think they take then?
I think top guy. Yeah.
Barlow?
Yeah, I think Barlow's a really good player. I could see Barlow dropping 17th too. He's underrated as well, but I think if Nashville was smart, they would take Barlow there.
Yeah. All right. So now we go to Calgary, another team that's kind of just had such a weird kind of stretch. I don't even know what they need. They're kind of like Nashville. They just need everything.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Calgary is going to be a contender team for a while anymore. Or, I mean, maybe playoffs, but like low playoffs at this point. They fell off really hard last season with a bunch of their trades and all the moves they did. That honestly hurt them a lot.
Yeah.
I think that Kachuk and Huberdeau thing was probably one of their worst decisions
Oh, for
as a
sure.
franchise.
Because
I
Huberdeau,
mean,
not good, and Kachuk played unreal.
Huberdeau's older. He's falling off. Kachuk is younger. He's not fully young. He's just younger and on the like uprise to get into his prime, which I think he got into his prime this past season.
Yeah. I think he's, and this, I don't want it to be recency bias, but I think he is a top 5 player in the league. He is so good.
That's a good take. I don't know.
Because you got McDavid, Draisaitl, McKinnon, Matthews, and then I mean, is it Kucherov at 5? Is it Kachuk? I don't
think you
know.
have to have Pasternak in there though.
Yeah, Pasternak. Yeah. See, I think that 5 is just so tough.
I think at this point you have to have Pasternak over Kucherov.
Yeah.
And I think Kucherov and Kachuk are pretty even. It doesn't really matter if you put one over the other.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Wait, we didn't take anybody for Calgary. Shit. Do we think
I
they
could see, I could see them taking Oliver Moore.
Oliver Moore?
Honestly, I could see
I
that.
think that'd be a good pick for him. All right, now we got your team again, Detroit. What do you think?
Um, I think my personal opinion. I think a steal here. You take Braden Yeager.
Braden Hager? Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about him too, and I think for
He's
Detroit
really
he'd be
good.
he.
I think he'd be a really good fit. Put him with like Perron and Kyle,
Yeah,
or or even like Raymond, like younger. I think that's a great fit.
and you can also he's a guy that's like he can transition. He can play pretty much any position, and so I think giving you
Yeah.
that little bit of flexibility would be good. All
Yeah.
right, Winnipeg. Winnipeg has drafted so many defensemen. Do they take
Yeah.
another one?
I mean, keep the streak going.
Maybe.
Like McCall, the Russian.
Yeah, I think you got to go there.
He's a really small defenseman, though. I mean, I could see it happening, but I could also see him falling just because of his size.
Yeah.
It's a really small defenseman.
Okay. Here's the other thing to think about too. So they just traded away Luc Dubois, center. They're potentially done with Scheifele and Wheeler, so there's another center. Maybe they go for a center here because they just lost 2, maybe 3.
Yeah, they don't, and they may lose Hellebuck.
Yeah, the goalies. I don't. There's like no goalies here.
I do know is Trey Augustine. I think Trey Augustine's in this draft, and what's his name? Cam Fowler.
Yeah, Augustine is projected 83rd, and Fowler is 232.
Those are definitely, in my opinion, top 2 goalies in the draft.
Yeah, I've never Crable. He did look good in the World Juniors, but I just don't think he's gonna be. I don't think he's. Maybe he goes over Augustine, but they'll.
Yeah,
Be,
I mean Trey Augustine played for national development. His numbers all year were really good, and for the World Juniors he played really good. And then Cam Fowler won the whatever cup it is in the USHL, and he had like the best numbers in the USHL.
Yeah. So he's solid. Yeah. No. What do we think for Winnipeg then here? Do we think they go back to a center?
I think they go back to a center, or at least a forward. After
So
all.
Riley Height.
Yeah.
I think that's a good pick. And then the Blackhawks here. This is tough. You get Bedard at 1. Do you build around him? Or
I think you take a D here, signing Nick Foligno and then potentially Taylor Hall too, and getting Bedard. I think they got to go for a D here to help Seth Jones.
So you think they go for the Russian?
I would think so. That seems something
I think that's
like they would do.
yeah. All right, now on to Seattle. They're going in the right direction. They have solid forwards. Their depth is probably top 5 in the league. They have like 8 goal scorers on their team or something.
I think Seattle's going to be a contender next year.
Yeah, I think that they made a statement in the playoffs. They knocked out the Stanley Cup champs, Colorado. They could very easily go far. Now,
Fair.
well, who do you think? Do you think they go for another defenseman in Caden Price? I think it's Caden Price is the next defenseman taken. Or do they go for a forward?
I think their forward core is pretty solid. I think you want to get a good D in the first round.
All right, we'll go Caden Price.
Yeah.
And now Philly. Here's a guy that I think Philly could take, Gabe Perreault. And I could see him going a lot higher than 20. Oh, wait, we're in Minnesota. I could see Perreault going way higher. Like, I could see him going in the top 15.
I forgot about Perreault. Perreault's really good.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I think he could go to Minnesota.
I think he could. I think he's a good fit for Minnesota, too.
Yeah. That's a winger that could really make a statement for him.
Minnesota as a team, though, is really struggling.
I know.
I mean, they're just... I don't even know what's going on.
It's so disappointing to think about because I don't think their team's even that bad. They got Fleury and is it Kakkonen?
I think, in my opinion, they have the second most underrated player in the league with Boldy.
Yep, he's very talented. I mean, they got Kaprizov, who's top 10 in the league probably. I mean, they just have so much. And
a good goal too with Talbot. Talbot played really good this season.
Yeah.
I think they made the mistake playing Fleury in that playoff game. I think that really set him up for failure.
Yeah, that kind of shifted everything in that series. That might have been the best first round series though. I loved
Yeah,
watching that.
that 100% was.
Yeah. It was also weird because the East got hyped up so much, and I even said it. I said the Stanley Cup champ's going to be from the East. There's 6 superstar teams, and somehow all of them get eliminated by Florida.
Florida.
Yeah, that was terrible. All right, moving to Philly. Do you... At this point in the draft, it's just kind of hard because it could be anybody, but I think that they just go with Callum Ritchie, just kind of next player up.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then the Rangers, they have probably the best top 6 in the league. I would say one of the best top 6s, so I don't think they go forward here. 930.
No.
So
Oh, I think their forward core is so good.
yeah. Zibanejad, Kane, Panarin, Kreider. Ew. I think they go for Theo Lindstein.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right. Now Nashville. What do you think for Nashville?
Again, tough. I mean, it's just at this point, I don't think it really matters. I think they just pick the next best.
You think they go next? So, Luca Pinelli?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Nashville's they just need anyone at this point, really. They just need people to just back up both forward and defense.
Yeah. I just now realized the Blues have 3 first-round picks.
That's
Jesus.
absurd.
Man, that blows my mind that they have
Oh
that
my
many.
God, Quentin Musty.
Quentin Musty.
Oh, Quentin Musty's good.
Do we go him next for St. Louis?
Oh yeah, Quentin Musty's actually really good. I forgot about Quentin Musty.
There's so many players on here that they feel like they should not be this low on the rankings because I'm starting to forget about him too. There's some. All right, San Jose at 26.
I mean,
it's hard because I think Carlson leaves, and so that's a defensive gap. What are you thinking?
I don't know if Carlson will leave. I don't know. I feel like there's no point in him leaving this part of his career unless he just wants to go win a cup and retire, which I don't think he does. Personally, I think he just kind of, I don't know. I don't see him leaving, but just in case of that, I could see a D pick and then take Oliver Bonk.
Oliver Bonk? I think it's Bonk as well, personally. Yeah. All right, Colorado. So this is hard because they just got Ross Colton today. So they did gain another forward, but I don't think they go D because they've got Taze, McCarr, Byram.
They don't really need any like young prospect D.
They don't need anybody.
I could see Otto Stenberg. I could see him.
Yeah.
I could see Nate Danielson too. Nate Danielson's really good. Oh.
I like Stenberg.
I do like Stenberg.
And Colorado has 2 first-round picks too. I think Danielson. I think actually he might go next to Toronto.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because I think it's hard. Toronto has 3 centers that are insane, but I don't. Do you think Tavares is still with Toronto after this?
I think if he's not, I don't know who would sign him.
Yeah, I think
with his contract demand, I have no clue.
I just think for Toronto, the best thing they could do is change something in that top 4 because they have struggled so much in the playoffs, and even this year, yeah, you beat Tampa. Congrats, you only won 1 game in the second round. All you did was get a worse draft pick. I mean, I just don't think it was worth it.
Yeah.
I think Tavares goes. I think Nylander stays.
Oh, 100%. I think Nylander's Nylander's just always been a Leaf and just really good for the team.
I've seen so many people talk about Nylander being the first to go out of that 4, and I watch him, and he actually in the playoffs looks good. Like Matthews and Marner don't look great in the playoffs, and I think you can't get rid of Matthews. There's just no way. And then it comes down to Marner, and I think you could trade Marner. I think Marner and Tavares are the 2 that go.
I think Marner's a top 10 player in the league.
He is very underrated too.
I mean, But out of the big four in Toronto, Nylander's the last to leave because I feel like Matthews is gone once his contract's done.
If you're Columbus here, because you're not a Blue Jackets fan, but you're kind of a Blue Jackets fan, right?
A little bit. I
So
used to be a big Blue Jackets fan.
would you trade Marner for the third overall pick, just straight up? If you're both teams, if you're Columbus, would you take Marner for Carlson and then vice versa?
Mm.
Because I have my answer, and my answer is if you're Toronto, you take it because you free up a lot of contract space.
A lot of cap space, yeah.
And Carlson could become a very, very good player. And if
I think Carlson's one of the best in the draft. I think Carlson and Fantilli and Bedard are all like right with each other. Like they could all be first overall.
in any other draft, I think Columbus wouldn't say no either because you get Marner and then you got Line and Gaudreau, and I mean like Columbus really could be good. Like if they figure it out, they could be fine.
Yeah, I would take that draft. I would take that trade.
I think that's interesting because I've seen a lot of people talk about that. How maybe Marner goes for top 3 overall pick. I don't know.
I would do that.
And then for St. Louis now, where do we go with them? They took Quentin Musty at 25.
Quinn Musty's good.
Yeah.
That dude's gross.
I've never seen him play. I got to be honest. I've never seen him play.
He's pretty good.
He's got a sick name apparently. Musty.
Yeah.
All right. St. Louis here. Do we think they just go for one of these top guys up here?
Yeah, I mean, you got 3 draft picks. I think at this point you just got to go top guys.
Yeah. Do we think? I think they go for this guy, Haltonen, or however you say it, mainly purely for size. Because, I mean, these guys are all wingers.
Yeah, I see that.
All right. Carolina here. What do they need? I heard Gostisbehere, or Shane Gostisbehere, I heard he isn't coming back. So maybe they go D. Maybe they go another forward.
No, I see going D here.
D. Cameron Allen?
Yeah.
Or it could be however the hell you say this name. I recognize this guy from the World Juniors though. Like he was solid.
I don't know. I think you can go any D for them, really, Carolina. It's not like they have bad D core. It's just it would be nice to get someone to develop.
We'll go Allen.
Yeah.
All right. So Colorado again.
Colorado had 3 picks too.
Where was the other one?
Did they have 3 picks?
No, I think they just had 2.
Oh, really?
27-31.
Okay.
They could, like we said earlier, they have a little bit of everything. I mean, they don't need anything.
Yeah, no.
They could go goalie here, actually.
They could go goalie.
Because their goalie now it's Georgiev, right?
Who? Colorado?
Yeah.
Georgiev's a really good goalie, though.
Yeah. I just don't know what else. I mean, their D is so good, and their forwards are so good, and even their goalie's good. What do they do?
I really don't know. I think at this point you just take highest player.
All right, we'll do that. All right, and then the last team here, we're only doing the first round. Last team, the Vegas Golden Knights, Stanley Cup champs. What do you think?
Worst overall player in the draft. I hate Vegas.
I think that they've got enough goalies. I think their D's fine. I just think they go next player available too. Ethan Gauthier.
Yeah, there's really no point. There's no strategy for them.
Yeah. We'll go Ethan Gauthier. So really, when we were looking at it, we were at pick 20, and then like the players we were taking were like 25th ranked. We basically picked the top 32, just not in the right order.
Yeah.
I think the worst player we took was 34th projected player. That was pretty sure it was Allen or Honzek, this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a goalie.
Okay.
All right, I think that's all we got. We got it here. We'll scroll up here. So, just a quick recap. We got Bedard, Fantilli, Carlson, Smith, Dvorsky. That's the top 5. That's pretty good. And then Benson, Michkov, Sandin, Pelika, Rainbacker and Wood. And then we got Sale or Saleh. I'm assuming it's Sale. And then Ryan Leonard. I think that's the steal of the draft. That's my pick for the steal of the draft. Dragicevic, Kristall, Barlow. And then we got Moore, Yeager, Haidt, Guliev, and Price. And then Perot, Ritchie, Lindstein, Pinelli, Musty, Bonk, Stenberg, Danielson, Holtonen, Allen, Hanzek, and Gauthier. Or Gauthier. I don't know.
Gauthier, whatever it is.
I think it is Gauthier. I'm pretty sure this is the guy that was in the is it the Calder Cup? What's the 4 teams that play? What is that? Memorial Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah. That he was in that. I'm pretty sure it's Gauthier. If it's the same guy. Yeah, no, I think we did a good job. I think that this is a pretty good list. We did have some reaches, but I mean, I think it's good. What are your?
Yeah, I think it's good all around.
Yeah. Alrighty. Thanks for watching or listening. I don't know what I'm going to post this on yet, but thanks to Sam for joining us. Glad to be back from our 1.5 year long break.
Year and a half drought.
1.5 drought. Probably will be another 1.5 drought because I don't know what else to do.
Yeah, you guys are not going to hear from us for a while.
Yeah, we'll be seniors by the time the next episode comes out. All right.
100%. Maybe in college. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe freshman in college.
Freshman in college.
All right. Thank you guys for listening.